So welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 536. And I'm super happy this month because this month already we are at 120,000 downloads just on the podcast alone. Now, to put it into some context for you, because I kind of took time off from podcasting here and there, but to put it in some form of context, in December, we only had 64,000 downloads. 64,000, which is a lot, by the way. I mean, I really appreciate that. But yeah, we're at 120,000 downloads for the podcast already. And I know, we're going to be getting up to 140,000 downloads this month, which means, without a doubt, it's always hard, just by the way, but for the replay of this is being broadcasted on YouTube and also on Twitch and also on Facebook if you want to go ahead and join me live at any time if we use this as a replay. But ultimately, we should be at without a doubt 10 million downloads when it comes to the podcast alone. So 10 million, not 10 million people, because people repeat a lot of my stuff because some of it's hypnosis, but we've had probably over 10 million downloads by the end of this month. Guy switched servers once and we had a couple of million on that one, and we got almost 8 million on this one. So we're definitely at around 10 million downloads just on the podcast alone. And thank you so much for the kind words. So we'll get to some of the questions. I'll scroll back to some of this stuff soon, but we have got people tuning in. Like Haley said, I also use your app every night to go to sleep too, even though at night, or even throughout the night where I can't go back to sleep. And Lisa says, congratulations. Great to have you, Mary, from Norway. That's another place I'd like to go. And Hero says, perfect pronunciation. I can't even pronounce pronunciation. So, yeah, we've had over probably 10 million downloads by the end of this month. I'm pretty sure about that. But we've hit 120,000 downloads this month, 10 million total, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, just to give you some updates when it comes to my applications. So you probably, if you haven't, you should go ahead and download my apps. So I've got an app on the Android, and I've got the app on the iPhone. If you haven't got it, go to freehypnosis.app, and that means you can go ahead and download it. Yes, you can go to sleep listening to me if you choose to, but it will definitely put you to sleep. I don't like to think it's because I'm boring, but it's because I'm trying to do hypnosis. But with some of the updates, we pushed out an update to the iPhone update to make sure the caching is better than ever before. That means the titles that you listen to will be fully buffered within about 10 seconds. When it comes to the Android app, we have rebuilt the whole Android app. It has taken such a long time. A lot of stresses and straining along the way, which we'll go into about that as a subject. But if you are on the Android app, we just released a second update because we had a couple of bugs to fix. But if you need to go ahead and restore your previous purchases on the app, go to settings, choose restore. If you're on Android, it should automatically recognize the Google Play account that you're on. But yeah, we've got some crazy cool updates coming, and I'm super happy about it because I've been speaking to my app developer a lot. We got another meeting on Monday, and that's gonna be like an hour and a half meeting we're gonna have together. And one of the things we are definitely going to do, well, I'm employing him to do, is that we're going to add another 60 new titles onto the app. There are going to be some crazy cool long-time nighttime transformations. On top of that, if you've purchased, let's just say you've purchased the anxiety hypnosis track before. Well, I'm going to give you the night version for free. If you've unlocked the whole app before, you're going to get both day and night version. Even the custom hypnosis section, which means the custom hypnosis section alone, there will be, wait for it, probably 1,200 ultimate combinations of tracks you can create. That is crazy me to think about. You can create up to probably, or you'll obviously be in day and night, so it'll be like 600 alternative ones, but now you're going to get another 600 because there'll be a nighttime version. I mean, you're going to be hypnosist out. Hypnosist? Can you be hypnosist? We'll see. Another new word. You're going to be hypnotized out because there's going to be so many, so many there, and I'm committed to the app, and I really appreciate all the feedback that you're saying right now. Like Sherry says, I love, in capitals, the new Android app. The update works so much better. Thank you ever so much. And Yvonne says, thank you, Joseph. I've updated my post. Everything, it was easy to fix. Oh, okay. Awesome, Yvonne. That's awesome. Yeah, me and my app developer were trying to like figure out things. And I say we, it's him. I'm like saying, can you do this? Can you do that? He's a genius of a guy. I'm trying to like keep him because he really does amazing work. Fantastic. Maria says, great to have you, Maria. I purchased the whole set, so this is so exciting. Yes. And Tasman says, restored all my purchases, no problem. That's great. Jason says, hi mate, love your talks. Well, it's great to have you here. It really is. So yeah, we've got some big updates when it comes to the app very soon. I've hired, like, he's not my employee, but I block him out. And so I'm going to hire him for next month to be able to push out all the updates. And it's going to be crazy cool. And I'm super excited because, yeah, we're just making things a lot better when it comes to the next phase of the app. So watch out for that. Brand new titles. We're going to have day and night version and everything. We're going to be looking into the repeat functionality. We got the favored functionality already. We're going to make this the best app you can possibly imagine. And I appreciate all your support. And if you do get a chance to review the app, I do appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, when we roll out apps, people are very, which I understand, are kind of sensitive because some things don't work perfectly in the beginning. You know, it's like, it's new, it's updated, and we get a couple of 1-star reviews here. But if you are enjoying the work, if not, just go ahead and let me know. Send me an email, we'll be able to fix it. But yeah, that'd be really awesome if you could write a review on the app and let me know how you're going. Yvonne says, I'm grateful that Hay House 2014 introduced me to you. You've been incredible support in my life. Oh, that's awesome. And that's an interest. Let's go into this kind of thing then, because first of all, when it comes to writing a book, I got D and an E in English. D and an E in English. So who am I to write a book? Well, I did not write my book. I didn't get anyone else to write it. I recorded it on a mic and then paid someone to transcribe it. So I paid someone to transcribe my book in audio form because I didn't have the ability to write very well. So I then collected and I started selling it by myself. A very short term, and I put it out to all these publishers, 10, 12 or something like that, and everyone said no. And even Hay House, which was my ideal publisher, they are the producers of obviously Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Greg Braden, like lots of really cool kind of self-development alternative, probably one of the biggest publishers for that, and I really wanted it, but they rejected me. But I persisted and they came back to me and said, look, we're going to take it on. So there's always going to be a way to be able to get your work out there or to live your life the way that you want to live if you are committed to getting what you want. Sometimes you're going to be under tension. Sometimes you're going to be under stress. But you know what? It's okay to be stressful. I've spoken recently about like some of the stuff that I'm going through in my life, not the details, but obviously there's lots of things moving in my life. And then we got all the app stuff, you know, like stress and tension is one of two things. Stress and tension, we can allow it to break us, or we can allow that stress or tension to grow us. You see, I'm in San Diego, and up the road from me is a place or a city called Temecula. Now, Temecula is one of the fastest wineries growing. Like, they're really like, if you think of California wine, you got Napa. Well, if you think of the next best thing, it's going to be Temecula wines. And I was doing a tour one day, and on this tour, they were actually saying about the climate of San Diego, because it's kind of close to the ocean. It's kind of deserty in a way the more you get inland. So it can be kind of dry, but it can also be kind of moisture as well, coming from all the clouds and the ocean. And the person was saying that the great thing about this area of Temecula is not just the grapes or the seeds that they have, but it's the environment. You see, to grow grapes, to be able to produce wine, for example, there needs to be some pressure. So the environmental conditions, the weather and everything in this area puts pressure on the grape. And the nature of putting pressure on the grape, it causes the grape or the vine and what have you to expand. Is actually that tension is expanding the grape. And we can say that if we go and walk out, we're like lifting weights or we're going running, we're putting pressure or stress on our body, not to make it less, not to break us, although some people will do that walking out because it will rebuild stronger, but to ultimately expand us, to get stronger and bigger. So wherever you are right now, I want you to know that the environmental conditions that you're in, you can choose to allow it to halt us or to expand us. How can we go into situations and think, well, even though, even though everything is a lot of stress and tension in my life, like it doesn't help me sleep, I'm getting worried, I'm getting anxious, I'm getting fearful, all those kind of things. Our perception is that if we've got issues, it's going to debilitate us, that there's no way out. But what if we change the frame of perspective, the frame of our perception, and go, do you know what? I'm going to allow this to expand me. I'm going to allow my situation, whatever I'm going through, psychologically, emotionally, physically, to expand me at the nature of who I am. To allow me to grow and to become something more because of this situation. Now, having that frame of reference, changing your perception of the situation will cause you to act different, to be different, to know that there's another opportunity out there for you. That you can say to yourself, look, even though I'm going through this, there is more to me to expand. There's more that I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to do whatever it takes, no matter how many no's that I get. No matter how many people say X, Y, Z, no matter how many people doubt me, I'm going to do it regardless. I'm going to get through this and expand myself because of it. I'm going to get myself in a position where I'm taking control of my life. I'm going to assume responsibility for my thoughts, for my thinking, for my feelings, for my actions. In fact, this is a wake-up call to me. This tension is telling me I've got to go on the inside and be stronger and more powerful because of it. When we come from that place, when we decide and declare that there's something more to life, that there's something that we want to become, where we know deep down there's that little part of us waiting to break free. It's wanting us to do more, to be more purposeful, to be more passionate, to be able to expand us. When there's that little voice on the inside, no matter how small it is, it goes, this is what I want. That is what you invest in. You don't invest in the external noise. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. If they're doubting, realize this. They're not doubting you. They're doubting themselves. They're doubting from their own perception. Maybe they were told they couldn't do something, so they're repeating the exact same thing. They're repeating the same story to you. Maybe they're saying things and it's not even about you. So why should we choose to listen to other people when they're doubting ourselves? We should take a stand for what is right. And I think you know what right is. It's not fear. It's not scarcity. It's not worry. It's not doubt. We want to be able to invest in what is right. And what is right is your beingness. This is your life. And we got to take a stand. We got to decide that if there's my goal, there's my outcome, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to switch off Netflix. I'm going to switch off social media. I'm going to do whatever it takes to go all in on myself. Because the deeper, the stronger that I go within myself, I can create who I am. You see, the person that you're listening to right now was so shy, incredibly shy, that he wouldn't even speak to his grandparents, who would wake up every day with dread. But I think it built me to what I am right now. Where it be the 10 million downloads, the podcast, and everything like that, it caused me to wake up. It caused me to recognize who I am. And it's easy to buy into what people say, of course, because we compare ourselves to others. But let me offer you a little challenge. Rather comparing yourself to other people, rather comparing to other people's opinions of you, why don't you compare yourself to yourself? From where you were yesterday, from a week ago, from a year ago. Just keep on comparing yourself to yourself. You have no competitors. You have even in business, I have zero competitors. It's none of my business what other people are doing. I'm just going all in on what I enjoy do. What I enjoy doing. And if I can improve myself every day, or from last week, or from last month, I can only keep growing as a person. So we've got to go on the inside and recognize that we are worth more. Whatever we think we are always more. Other people's opinions of us are not our business, and the tension from the outside, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's an opportunity to grow. That frame of reference where you go, look, this is happening. I wonder how much stronger I'm going to become because of this pressure. If you think about, I'm not very technical with this stuff, but like putting an iron in a fire, it builds it, it makes it stronger, it molds it, it gets into something, it can be something beautiful. It doesn't just melt away, shrivel, and things like that. We want to be able to get into a place that we realize that everything that we're going through is an opportunity to grow. For the external tension that we experience today is going to allow us to be stronger and have more experience. You see, you might want to get out of the pain right now, which I totally get. 100% get that we want to get rid of pain. And we want to be able to move through it as quickly as possible. But we've also got to know that if we try to get out of it too quickly, we're not paying attention to the signals. We're not paying attention to what's really happening. And the quicker we understand, the quicker we're actually going to move from it. So we don't shy away from pain. We don't shy away from our emotions. We don't shy away from that tension, because that is just living within our comfort zone or our escapism zone where we're still the same. We want to be able to wake up to the fact that even though this is happening, what can I learn from this? How can I allow it to expand my consciousness? How can I allow it to be the creator of my success? How can I use it as momentum? How can I utilize this and look for the learning? Because our biggest issues in life will be our biggest learnings and growth factors if we treat them that way. It will cause us to move out of pain naturally. It will cause us to move into the pleasure or the peace or the wholeness. And absolutely, other people's opinions are a reflection of themselves. That's absolutely right. So why should we always pay attention to those people's opinions? Because if you have a belief system, let's just say you believe that if you're not good enough or worthy or deserving or capable or anything like that. Well, think about their belief systems. Are they coming from that place or another belief system? Notice if their belief system, is it genuinely about you, or because they're not thinking objectively, because no one does. So they're coming to that conclusion. They're coming to that conclusion based on their experience and the events that they went through. So why should we take it on as truth? And that's the point of waking up to that situation. We've got to wake up to, is this real, or is it someone else's distorted, generalized, and deleted opinion of us? And when you do that, you become liberated. You start to see that actually that this life that we're on, it's a ride for sure. But I always like the analogy. I don't know if you remember Bill Hicks, the comedian. I don't know if it was his or someone else's, but he said it in this thing. He said, like, life is like a ride, like a theme park ride. Like, you're scared to come into this world. You're scared to get onto that ride. And then you're going around, going fast, upside down, all those things. And it is thrilling and it's scary and all that stuff. And then it stops. And then you go, I want to do this again. So life is pretty much like that. There are so many twists and turns, but ultimately we can enjoy that, or at least recognize that there's something to be enjoyed, to not allow it to affect us, to not allow it to self-sabotage, or to cause us to self-sabotage, or allow it to hold us back, because you're so much more special, so much more special than that. You honestly have everything you need on the inside. You have everything you need. You're just pure potentiality. You might have to learn a few things, but you have the skill set to learn. You have the skill set to adapt. Your physiology is so adaptable. I can't even understand the physiology of the body, which is obviously the unconscious part of us. Like, there are some people out there who can just drink like 10 cans of Coke every day and have no water. I don't know how the body even processes that. I mean, I only drink water myself. I might put like vitamin C packets in here and there, but I can't understand how the body can sustain so much pressure. But it can also do that on the brain level when it comes to the psychological aspects of us. You are so adaptable, and the person with the most adaptability will control the situation. And you have the ability to control this situation. You might not be able to change the external right now, but as Viktor Frankl said, when you're unable to change a situation, you are challenged to change yourself. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to go on the inside. We've got to get in touch with our unconscious mind, because the only reason we have conflicts is because we're out of rapport with ourselves. But once we get back into rapport with ourselves, we can start to allow it to come into our alignment. And then when you start to do that, you start to radiate in your thoughts, your psychology in other words, And you'll look for things which are aligned with that positive psychology. Whether we call it things like the law of attraction or the biological aspects of the reticular activating system, when you find and look for one thing or it's on your mind, your body is neurologically wired to look for everything that is similar to the thing which is present in your mind. The problem is most people have anxiety in their mind, so their biology is wired to look for more of the same. But we've got to reverse the process. We've got to reverse the anxiety process. When anxiety comes in, it's your signal to focus on what you want. It can take time because it's been running wild for a long time maybe. But when anxiety, worry, fear, and doubt comes into our life, it is our job, consciously, to focus on what we want out of life. That is your conscious responsibility. All the fear, worries, and doubts, treat them as signals that something's not right and that something needs to change. And once you make that decision, you'll start to be on the cause side of your life. In other words, a cause and effect. And I always say this, rather than being a product of life, allow life to be a product of what you choose to create, of how you want to show up, what you want to create. So if you have a passion, if you have a purpose, or you have a goal, you have an outcome in your mind, take ownership over it and go, look, even though people doubt me, even though people say things based on their perception, I refuse to allow that person, that environment to dictate how I feel, because I am more than that. As I said, it takes time, but you can get to that place. I mean, if I can do it, you can too. You might need help along the way, and there's no shame in reaching out for help, by the way. I think a lot of the time we keep a lot of our thoughts and our feelings inside. But the problem is when we keep them on the inside, our unconscious mind's responsibility is to repress. And if we repress emotion, or we repress this conflict, it doesn't go away. It's still there, but it's just kind of growing because the tension is still there. It might be trying to protect us by repressing, but we don't want to stay that same. So realize, look, it's okay to get help. You know what? It's human to have issues. You've gone through so much in your life. You've gone through significant emotional events. So be gentle on yourself. Be gentle on who you are as a person. When you're gentle, you have an opportunity to change your life. When you're being so pressured upon yourself and you're being so hard on yourself, you're not going to be able to change. You've got to nurture yourself. You're not going to be having that inward negativity or repression. We want to be able to go, look, I'm a human being. I'm human. I'm going to experience things. And it's okay to need and want help. And it's why I created the podcast ultimately, to try to help and support people. And then obviously the apps and so on. And I got my higher, bigger program kind of things. But it's okay to reach out for help to your friends or family or a professional. There's no shame. You should never feel any shame in your position, whether it be in financially, relationship, career, or health. Never feel shame about it because it's going to lock you down. When you feel shame, you're not doing anything about it. So when you realize, well, I'm going through this, but I'm okay to reach out for help. I'm okay to know that it's okay to be this way or to recognize I have an issue. So that means I can actually start doing something about it. I always say the 3 ways when I'm looking for clients, like people apply to the program, the only way, the kind of person that I want is if they're resourceful. In other words, they don't have to know everything, but they're willing to ask for help. That they're dedicated to do the things they've never done. And also they're willing to take good decisions, even over fear. Most people aren't willing to ask for help. So we've got to realize, look, it's okay that we need help. That is no problem. We are human. We've got to be dedicated, because if you're not dedicated to resolving your issue, it means you're ultimately more dedicated to keeping your issue, whether you do it consciously or not. But it's either one way or the other. We're either consciously dedicated to resolving the issue, or we're being dedicated in keeping and remaining the same. Because that dedication is literally a habit. And then finally, even though, and I think most people will make decisions based on fear most of the time, especially people who are fearful, worried, fear they're not enough, fear of failure, fear of imposter syndrome and being found out. We're going to make decisions based on fear. But when it comes to something so important as you as a person, to your health, to your future, to your family or children, all those people, but mainly you, that's when we got to make a decision what is right, and we go all in on whatever solution you choose. Me or someone else, I don't mind. Whatever suits and feels great for you. If you do it by yourself, perfect. No issue at all. But be more dedicated to the solution rather remaining the same. Because your unconscious mind is dedicated to running the exact same situation, because it's habitually been created. A decision was formed based on the past significant emotional events that we went through, and it's created this neurological, psychological habit to believe that we're not worthy, to believe we're not deserving, good enough, or capable, or to have anxiety or fears and all those things. So your unconscious mind is dedicated to staying the same. So that is why you have to be consciously dedicated to let go of the issue. So yeah, be gentle on yourself. Acknowledge those signals that you're going through. But then start to be more dedicated to yourself than what your unconscious mind's doing, to what people think of you, whether it be society. Look, we are running programs so many hundreds of years old. It's unreal. And society is not always there to support us. You know, because like, who controls society? Like, there's a lot of big companies which dictate what society is through advertising or from lobbying and all those things. So we've got to realize that, you know what? It doesn't matter what society thinks. It's none of my business. What other people think, society thinks. If I want to do something which is good for my health, which is for my happiness, to know that I'm worthy, to know that I am loved, to know that I'm deserving and capable, well, forget about the rest. That is not your business. That is none of your business. So let's put our attention on what we control, and that is our thinking. We got to be in control of our thoughts. We got to be in control of how we feel every day. And it takes time, but being consciously aware of what's happening to your own processes, in other words, that is the first step. And be more dedicated to your happiness than anyone else possibly could be. Because that's going to get you through. That's going to cause you to wake up and go, do you know what? Life is good. Do you know what? The issue that I had caused me to grow. That tension allowed me to expand the nature of who I am. And to really realize that we're not alone in the stress. We're not alone in the pain. So don't feel alone like that. Feel like, do you know what? There's other people out there who are where I am and also overcame where I am right now, which means there's a possibility. And that's what we double down on. That's what we really go for. And with that, let me go ahead and see what you've been saying. So, Maria says, hard to change that perception. Good point. I've stressed out so much this past year. I'm nearing the unhealthy well and carrying other people's stresses. Well, it's good that you woke up to that fact. We've got to really regain control and get in control of our state. So go through the hypnosis, go through the podcast. Don't get caught in that trap. It's not going to support us, and we've got to be the one waking up to that, to go, look, let's go ahead and do something about it. Let's go you cannot enter this day. When you wake up, going onto social media, getting involved with other people's business before you're even involved in your own business. You got to be able to get into the day and listen to a hypnosis track, journal, set up your day in the most profound way that you treat yourself first. And that means when you enter this fast-paced world that you'll be able to adapt to it. Like really take care of yourself first, and then everyone else, including the world, will actually take a benefit of that. So we've also got Yvonne says, yes, other people's opinions are a reflection of themselves. Absolutely. And success is to our own definition, to keep on doing what we do in order to reach our own success. Now, I'm going to add to that because that's a really good point. Some people say that people's goals are unrealistic. People in your life might go, that's too unrealistic. Who are you to achieve that? Well, realize that's their expectation. Now, you are the one who chooses what realistic is. So if you have a goal and dream, you define if that's realistic. You define that, not someone else. You are the definer of your outcome. So I think we had some questions as we went back as well. So then I'll go back to the recent ones. And if I do miss anything, okay, so we've got, so Joe, can you get a chance, can you direct me to where I can get the ADHD relaxation hypnosis track for my daughter? So if you go into the app and go to the hypnosis section, there's just type in the search bar, you pull it down and go put ADHD. And also I think there's a custom creation for it as well. So you'll be able to find that by just typing ADHD there. Okay, so you said that you're in the app, but you thought you're doing it wrong. Yeah, so that's what I'll just go in there. You can pull it down and then type in ADHD and it should come up right there for you. When it comes to the app, we've got a question here. Are you planning to do a playlist sort of thing at some point? Yes. There's a lot of kind of technical things to do with it, but I would like to, the first phase we originally did was favorited it, so it like reorders. That's the first one we rolled out. The next one will be a repeat function, and then the next one, if we can make it happen, will be a playlist within the app. And that would also presumably include a repeat of all in that list. So that is something I'd like to be able to do. Okay. Oh, thank you ever so much, because Cowbarn87 Gaming, just want to say you helped me so much with depression and getting through tough times in my life. I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, thank you ever so much. I truly appreciate that. So we've got a question right here as well. Oh, we've got a couple. So, how do I overcome the fear of dying and taking medication? Now, that's a big, big question. Now, I'm going to expand upon it in a way that taking it to fear, right? Because if we have a fear or a phobia, so include that as well, fear and phobia, medication, could be dogs, it could be of dying. We've got to realize two things. One, when it was formulated. So there would be a time in our life, no matter what fear or phobia we have, where something happened, and it could be a one-time big event or a sequential amount of events which build up, but there's going to be a decision that we make. And I've said this quick analogy because it just works before. If I was like 7 years old, I got bit by a dog, my neurology, my unconscious mind may make a decision. Not only this dog is harmful, but all dogs. So as I'm growing up, even as an adult, I could see a puppy and my physiology is fearful of that. So there's going to be a decision there, where it be medication, where it be fear of dying, or where it be dogs or snakes or whatever it may be. So we know there's a decision point. The second aspect is that behind every phobia, there's a positive intention, which is protection. Every phobia tries, and I'm emphasizing tries here. It tries to protect you, because it doesn't really. accessing those kind of emotions and even irrational responses. Like some people could jump out of the way into the road to get away from that dog. That's the irrational response, and that is what a phobia is an irrational response to something. But the intention behind it is protection. It's trying to keep us safe. So we need to educate the unconscious mind. We need to, one, let go of the limiting decision, and number two, we need to educate the unconscious mind to know that there's another safer way of being. So I'm trying to think if I've got a hypnosis title for either of those, and I do not think I have, but I will put them on the list for you. Like I said, we're releasing another 60 or so, but I don't think that's on the list, but I'll think about that. But the main thing is how we let go is realizing there was a decision we need to release, and realize we need to upgrade the system to be safer, because all phobias are trying to keep us safe. Another question we got here. So is our belief systems learned from other people's beliefs? Partly, yes. That's a really good question, Jason, by the way. The beliefs are learned from people, circumstance, or situation. For example, the economy, which I guess is people, but the economy tanking could cause me to believe in something. Or if I were to fall over one day, like no one else is there, this is hopefully a cleaner, but still not a great example. But if I were to fall over one day and I tripped over, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting example, whatever, but I tripped over something, I might then create a belief that actually I'm not good at walking, or I've got to be careful of tripping over, so therefore you're hesitant. So beliefs aren't formulated just because of people. Usually they can be, because we have lots of interactions with people. If my father said, Joseph, you're not good enough, I might take on that belief system. Or if someone rejected me, I might believe that I am not worthy or good enough. Or if I just generally failed at something. So it could be including no one. There's a better example. I should have just thought of this in the beginning. But if there's something that I was doing, like I'm trying to learn something and I fail at it, I didn't get it right the first time or the second time or the third time, I might come up with a conclusion that I'm not good enough. So it can be people, but it can also be within ourselves, our own decisions that we make. I mean, it could be the example of the phobia of a dog. The dog was present there, but you know the one thing that's always present in every one of those scenarios? We are. We are ultimately the decider of that belief. And not consciously. You don't consciously decide, but it's your interpretation, your unconscious decision to formulate that belief, or to formulate that conflict, anxiety, worry, fears, depression, lack of confidence, all those kind of things, addictions. It's an unconscious decision that we're making. So regardless of others, excuse me, we're the ever constant part of the equation. And that's good news, because that means we can change it. That means we're the ones in the control seat if we start to work upon it. But that was a really, really good question. And I don't know if I repeated this already, but Angela says you can't change your situation, but you can change how you choose to react to it. That is awesome, Angela. Lisa says her little epiphany here is dedicated to changing or dedicated to staying the same. Such a simple concept, but wow, never thought about it like that. And it's absolutely true. It really is. And I'm not saying consciously, but I am a little bit. You have to be more dedicated to change rather than dedicated to staying the same. Staying the same is doing nothing. And you are a part of that allowing of that staying the same. Your unconscious mind is doing it. It's fully dedicated because it thinks it's doing a good job. But we are allowing it to stay the same if we do nothing about it. And that's why I always say, assume the responsibility for our life. But I'm really pleased you enjoyed that one, Lisa. Okay. Sherry says, I've been saying this all week. Even made a goal list this week on Facebook. I love it. That is perfect. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, we've got some long ones. We'll see what we can do here. So Lisa says, I'm dealing with others telling my dreams are unrealistic, trying to revitalize part of my city, have a whole master plan, dream about it. I just have to laugh when others say it won't happen. They obviously don't know me. There we go, right? I love that, Lisa. You know what you get today? There's what you're going to get. You ready? You're going to get some celebration. That's such a great kind of mindset to have in you. That's exactly what we're after. None of our business. We choose what is realistic, not other people. And yeah, that is absolutely awesome. Now, this might be a long one to fit on my screen, so we'll go ahead and see. Oh no, it actually works. It just cuts me out a little bit. So, just saying, Kayla, go to the App Store, get the Joseph Clough Hypnosis app, and there are 33 hypnosis on there. There's actually, by the way, Kenneth, there's like 100 on there now. Just type in hypnosis on the free section. There are around 100. But you say you lost all, oh no, sorry. Yeah, okay. And then you said, I couldn't drive for 10 years. I lost all of my 30s in 10 years. I took every medication doctors could prescribe me. And then I found him, got with Joseph, and he told me with his app, and I tried everything in the world, spent thousands, but his driving phobia hypnotic. He said, like, to listen for 8 weeks every night. I went to sleep 6 weeks later, and I was driving okay 8 weeks. Wow. That is awesome. And you went to become an Uber driver? Here we go. Let's get this for you, Kenneth. That is absolutely awesome. I really appreciate that. And what you are, Kenneth, is you're an example of what can be done. So really be grateful for what you did. In fact, everyone here, if you've done anything good, there's what my dad says to me when we do our trainings. He says, what do you do? Put your hand like this. And if you're listening, I don't think I'm going to put this on the podcast, but if I do, put your hand up in the air as if you're like saying hello, and then go all the way back, right near your back, and then just do that. Start tapping, because you need to pat yourself on the back sometimes. That is fantastic. Thank you, Nailbender. I appreciate that being subscribed. Appreciate you too, my friend, as well. You are awesome. Mark says, how do I stay consistent with self-improvement? So, how do I stay consistent with self-improvement? Now, the simple answer would be, well, just be more consistent. But that wouldn't help either of us here. Being consistent with self-improvement kind of goes back to the dedication, being more dedicated to what you want rather than staying the same. But how do we do that? So Mark, I want you to think about what you said here is how, let's break this down. There's a really good, excuse me, everybody. There's a really good example. How do you stay consistent with self-improvement? Linguistically, I'm pretty good with language. Not with writing or speaking, but like understanding sometimes. When you say how to stay consistent with self-improvement is very low energy. It is very vague, and it's far and wide. So I would want you to be far more specific on what you want to let go of. Like, self-improvement is not very motivating for me. I want to think, well, what do I really want? What do I really want? And then, Mark, come up with every reason why you want it. Every reason. List 100 reasons why you want to achieve that specific goal or outcome. That level of reasons, or the why it's important, will be leveraged to you. It'll be leveraged to your unconscious mind. So number one, be more specific, and then come up with as many reasons as to why you want it. And if you want to go deeper into it, why you are worth it. That's going to be, and you look at it every day. You go, okay, this is why I'm getting it. Because every goal is just a goal. You don't want the goal. You want the goal of what it will give you. You don't want money. You want money because it will give you freedom, or give you freedom of choice or security. You don't want a relationship. You want what the relationship will give you. You don't want that new career. You want the job title. You want what the career will give you. So think about all the byproduct, the reasons, and also the reasons why you are worth it. That's going to be good conscious and unconscious leverage right there. That's a really good question. You're more than welcome, Jason, saying thank you. That really helps a lot. Now I get it. Perfect. Okay, so we got lots of just great feedback, so I appreciate you. Okay. How can I be a positive in a negative situation? I love that one as well. Great one, Amy. So let's think about this. How can I be positive in a negative situation? It reminds me, and I never had him growing up, but it reminds me of the real great quote of Mr. Rogers. When bad things happen, you look for, like bad events happen in the world, it can bring us down. But he said to look for the helpers, right? So look for the helpers and realize, do you know what? There's some special people in here. And it like changes your association. So let's go for this. How can I be positive in a negative situation? Well, look for the learnings. What can I learn from this? What are the opportunities because of this? How can it allow me to grow? Because we're more likely to go down the sense of why is this happening, and you'll come up with all the reasons why this is happening to justify all the negativity. Well, you want to be able to look for the hows. How can I learn from this? How can I grow because of this? How can I expand? What is the message here? What is the learning here? How can I allow it to grow me? What's going to be the next phase? Once I've overcome this, because sometimes a negative situation we think is going to stay the same. So even just have the mindset of it shall pass. It's going to pass. We can also go into more stoic or stoicism, where we're thinking, okay, the bad stuff here, I'm at peace with it. If it happens, it happens. But there are some alternative versions I'd like to happen as well. So I would be looking for the learnings, looking for the growth. And that is going to cause us to change. And being dedicated, look for all those reasons why once again as well. Kenneth says, Joe, since then, that was 2016, I continue to listen to a hypnosis that I think might help my issues, like fear of heights. Well, that is awesome. Jordan says, Gordon Ryan versus Vanga link. I have no idea what that means. No idea. Thank you, Savage Coffee Tea. You say awesome information every time I stop in. Well, I appreciate you ever so much. And congratulations is in order for you, my friend. You get one of these too, for your steps of what you're making today. Amy says, thank you. You're more than welcome. Lee says, this too shall pass. It may pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass. Now that is funny. And you'll get stronger because of it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. We kind of went on different tangents, so I probably won't use it as a podcast. If I do, I've got to do a lot of editing, but we'll see. Unless you think it was kind of valuable, I will go ahead and put my effort into editing it into a little bit of a cleaner one. But yeah, I hope you got value. We've been going on for an hour now. And I just wish you the very, 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 very best Friday. Or I know we've got people from Australia here and New Zealand. I know we definitely got people from Australia, so you're actually in the future because it's Saturday afternoon, I think, or morning, late morning. Okay, got a quick question here. New update, will you have the streaming versus download? Well, the new update does both. Okay, so it does both. We've got the Apple we're using a system based on Apple, which goes onto Android, and it's their very, very good caching system. It means once it's fully buffered, it captures a version of that track. And that means it's rarely or very limited to your device, so it saves you space, but it captures it. That means you can do the offline listening, but it makes it very device optimized. So you've got the streaming and also it has the downloading. If you don't want to be cached, as in you don't want it to be part of that memory, you can just remove the caching on the settings, but I highly recommend it. It has very little memory when it comes to that. So hopefully that makes sense. Kenneth says as well, because of your business, I own 2 businesses, but I started from nothing. I was in the car business for 20 years and realized I wasn't doing what I was gifted to do. Reading is not always my best thing. I realized I wasn't doing what I was gifted to do. I was good at it, but I decided I will not let anyone dictate my income. That is awesome. Great, I'm so happy for you, Kenneth. You are awesome. Yes, people in England, Jason, you should be asleep. Definitely asleep. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate you. Tasman, thank you for being awesome. Well, thank you for being awesome. Lisa says, always enjoy your wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing what you do. You're more than welcome. I love doing what I do. I mean, I've been there, gone through it. We've helped through my system hundreds or thousands of people just through the system, but obviously through the app, where like I said, I'm so happy that we've got 10 million downloads by the end of this month, which is awesome. Blows my mind in every single way. So with that, my wonderful friends, I wish you the most wonderful Friday or Saturday, wherever you are in the world. I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.